I came back from the Philippines. Man, I failed like 5 different businesses. And I had money, dude. I was through like 25 grand at one business, 60 grand at another.
Yeah.
Fail. I was 19. I had a drug overdose. That's a huge part of my story. And I knew in that moment I was going to die and I was about to stand before God.
What do you think the secret is that most people miss? Or is there a secret? Or maybe they just open and they're trying to get their first couple rock star agents in there. Principles and Pressure is where we explore what a person really stands on when life turns up the heat. Real, unfiltered conversations with people who don't fold when things actually get messy. Today, I'm sitting down with husband, dad of 6, and a serial entrepreneur with a wild, redemptive story from an overdose at 19 to launching his first PNC agency at just 22 to building and selling an Allstate agency that crossed $8 million in premium in just over 2 years. He moved his family to the Philippines to help start a mission organization, came back, swung at new ventures, failed a few, rebuilt again, and kept going. Today, we dig into the principles that carried him through pressure, how he builds elite sales teams, and why winning at home matters just as much as winning in business. Tyler, welcome to the show, bro. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Quick little icebreaker. Would you rather be able to speak every single language on earth, or would you rather be able to talk to animals?
I'm not a big animal lover. I got to admit.
Yep.
Probably speak every language.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think speaking every language has a lot more utility,
more value
out of it, and more value. Speaking of animals is cool, like,
yeah.
The wild thornberries. But yeah, I would much rather speak every single language as well. I saw a video recently and it was a guy saying, hey, like if you're a new couple, don't get a dog together because all the time and energy that you naturally have, that you should just pour that into kids.
That's right.
Not into a dog. Cool, man. Well, let's jump in, dude. Just set the story for our listeners, man. What's like the short version of your story? Like what really shifted everything for you?
Okay. Like from a business perspective and whatnot.
Yeah. Wherever you want to go.
Yeah. I guess the biggest change, took place. I'd have to go all the way back when I was 19. I had a drug overdose. That's a huge part of my story. I mean, I was living a pretty dark life. I got kicked off of 2 baseball teams. My whole life, I was like, I'm going to be a professional baseball player. That was everything to me. And I got kicked off of 2 teams because of those habits. And then I'm back waiting to go try out, walk on at KSU. I knew some kids playing there. I was like, hey, I'll just go play at KSU, live at home, keep my life clean. Ended up getting my wife unexpectedly pregnant. She wasn't even my wife at the time, or she wasn't, my girlfriend at the time. We were both living away from God, very dark life. And yeah, I told people, I was like, I'm never going to be high and a father at the same time. And so she gives birth December 23rd. I think it's like December 26th, December 27th. We're hanging out in a basement with some friends. And I was like, I've lost all this weight. I can't eat because I'm in withdrawal because I did stop doing the drugs when she was born. But I was like, I'm going to take a couple hits so I can eat and, feel okay. And man, it was like, something was in it or something changed, something clicked with me. My body didn't receive it. It was wild. I felt like I was dying without going into too much detail. It felt like my heart exploded. I'm looking at myself in a mirror and I'm like seeing a dead man. Like I can't describe it other than like I knew in that moment I was going to die and I was about to stand before God. I had known of God. I'd been brought up in the church. I even went to a Christian school my senior year and was pretty deep into the things of God and kind of was like playing on that line. It's a dangerous line to play with, honestly. And I just cried out to God. I didn't know what else to do. I just was like, God, help me not go back. Because I had tried before. I was like, dude, I can't stop doing these bad things, these drugs. I don't know why. It was like I had no self-control. I didn't have any vision for my life. I was living week to week, maybe sometimes day to day, honestly. And that was the turning point, man. I cried for God to save me, like physically, spiritually. And dude, he did, he's faithful, man. And my heart, like everything calmed down. Obviously I lived and I was like, I've got to extract myself from this life that I have created, because we kind of create our own life, like what's happening around us is a reflection of our heart. And I was like, I've got to pull myself away from this. So I locked in, whatever you want to call it. I completely deleted phone numbers. I deleted social media. And I was like, I'm going to go to church. I don't want to go to my mom's church. I've been on the prayer list of my mom's church since I'm like 12, I'm like, I don't want to walk in there. Everybody's going to be like, oh, he's back, So I'm just going to go to church. I don't know how. And long story short, I get invited because I'm working at IHOP at the time, serving tables.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you remember me in high school. We go way back.
Yeah.
I had a sick truck.
Yeah.
I had nice clothes. I was playing all the sports.
Yep.
My dad sold my truck right before the drug overdose. We actually sold it before I got kicked off the colleges because I was like living a season of debauchery before I went to college. And my dad was like, I'm not funding this anymore. I'm selling your truck.
Yep.
He's a good father.
Good dad.
Yep. He did it. He sold my truck. So I got nothing. And I'm working at IHOP and I get invited to church. I give my life to Jesus. I'll say about the family thing and we'll get, I know this is more so leaning towards business and everything, but man, like I got lucky that Lexi, my wife, is a good woman, that she grew up in a home where they fear God, they revere God. She went to a Christian school. And so I'm like, hey, you want to go to church with me? And all of a sudden, like, she hated me. I didn't like her too much. She had great reason. I had very little reason. But she starts going with me because she's also in this place where she's like, what else am I going to do? This guy's the father of my child. Yeah. And so she goes to church with me. We fall in love, dude. And it was like, oh my gosh, like God can redeem this. He can restore anything. And we fall in love and we got married like 7-8 months later, something like that. Had Callaway the next year, our oldest son. And we have 6 kids now and we've been happily married and more in love now than ever. It's great. But from a business perspective where things shifted, and I think, business life, it's all intertwined, was at IHOP, dude. I realized, I was like, God sees everything. And I had this idea. Dude, I'd applied to jobs. I had asked, everyone I knew for better opportunities. Yeah. But I had this idea, just kind of, I conceived this thought that, that if I were to work diligently, faithfully, and I did a little bit more than was required of me, that God would promote me. Like he has to. He sees it. He has to care. He has to do something about it. He has to act. He has to respond if I live my life this way. So I would start doing like little things like folding napkins for the other servers because you're supposed to, like in your downtime, sir, they go smoke their cigarettes. Yeah. I got all their napkins folded. They're like, oh, why'd you do that for me? Yeah. I'm like, oh, I just had extra time. Yeah. I'm just becoming this guy. And so I go and I apply for other jobs. I get a better job. I'm now a cook. I'm a cook at Shane's Rib Shack and I'm also working at IHOP. Yeah. All right. I know nothing. Yeah. That leads to a job in landscaping. And then again, same mentality, same focus, same like I'm going to do more than's required of me. I'm going to get there early. I'm going to stay a little late. I'm going to work a little harder. I'm going to give it a little bit more focus. I get a better job. Next thing you know, I'm in sales and I finally get somewhere where there's no ceiling. And then what you said is kind of, the rest is history, man. Like I applied those same blue collar kind of principles to the business world. I got in it and I saw these guys that wanted to hobnob. They wanted to go to the networking events and dress nice, look nice, with the comb over and and there's nothing wrong with the comb over. I wear the comb over too, but they're very polished. And I'm like, dude, I think I can run circles around these guys if I bring in this blue collar mentality. So I did. And you're right, dude. And you were a part of it. That agency with farmers, number one in the state of Georgia, 3 years in a row, number one in the nation, 2017, with just a handful of people and grit. We were not investing heavy. No, we were grinding. Yeah. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun, dude. It was fun. So fun. And, I think that when I sold that agency and when I went to Philippines and I came back from the Philippines, man, I failed. Like 5 different businesses failed. And we can talk more about the details of that. But what I learned in all of that is like, it doesn't matter. And I had money, dude. I would throw like 25 grand at one business, 60 grand at another, a few thousand at this, a few thousand at that. Yeah. Fail. Wow. Because it's not the money you can throw at it. And I think this is huge for any listener who's like, wanting to start something or is a part of something or is trying to kind of break out in business. It's not about the amount of money you can throw at it. It's genuinely not. I've had the money to throw at it and thrown the money at it and it didn't work. And even hindsight, looking back at literally all 5 of those failures, had I known the recipe that I know now, which is what I did originally at Farmers, that blue collar grit,
Yeah.
that focus, that intentionality, they'd be successful. No doubt. I just gave up because they weren't taking off quick.
So what was driving you in that first agency?
Honestly, man, it was like I was so enjoying God. I was so enjoying my wife and my kids. I was so enjoying the process. I look back on it now, and I think it was just so fun um, winning, you know? And I was in this state where I was so focused. I wasn't distracted by social media. I wasn't watching TV. I wasn't wasting my time on anything meaningless, man. Everything I was doing was meaningful. Everything. And dude, that's the life I think that God honors and God promotes. And that's the whole thinking behind it, is that, you can white knuckle, you can grind, you can wake up early, you can work 9 to 5 instead of 9 to 5. You can do all that hard stuff. But I think, at the end of the day, it's God who brings the promotion. And if you take the emotion out of the long term and you just focus on today, you live with excellence and intentionality today, you get so many wins, and those wins give you like wind in your sails. The energy, the vibrancy that you need to keep going, I think comes from exactly that. It comes from that promotion, because you're just like, you feeling this like thing, it keeps happening, like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And it like wakes you up in the morning. And it's hard to go to sleep at night. Like that's the kind of, excitement, kind of feeling that like we were created for. Like God made us all with a unique purpose and a unique destiny. And that's exactly what, we're meant to do. That whatever that thing is, that's what we're meant and destined to do. And when you're in it, when you're in that thing and you're in that vehicle, you have this wind in your sails. It wakes you up, dude.
For sure.
It wakes you up. It makes it hard to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You're excited. You want to read books about it. I hated reading, but I'm like finding books I can read because I'm so excited about life.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. I can't stand reading, but
listening.
I listen now,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm to the point where, I heard somebody say like you should listen to the book and read it. So you're getting a visual learning and an auditory learning at the same time. And I'm like, man, you know what? I like that. So I've been doing that with an Alex Hormozy book. I think it was actually him who said it. So it helps, and it just brings it back. It brings it to life too.
Yeah. I think it's very therapeutic to actually read words on the page, and we're so used to the quick hits of scrolling,
Absolutely,
and the videos and everything. I think that when you have to it actually takes like 30 minutes to get one really good idea, and you work for it. That idea is like in you now. You've got it. It's stuck. It's not going anywhere. Yeah.
No, I love that. What was it like restarting when you came back from the Philippines?
Tough, bro. I think one of the hardest things was, we are, I think, thriving as humankind. We thrive in community and in, as you're working and doing things with other people. I think I was very misunderstood. I think coming back, the things I tried to do weren't working. And man, I'm like, so when we left, so I sold the Farmers Agency. I met the Benham brothers, incredible guys that are just amazing in real estate and life, really, serial entrepreneurs. And they taught me how to invest in real estate. So I bought like 5 properties, and we were renting those out. And that's how we funded our mission. That's how we funded our trip to the Philippines and our stay. And so when we came back, we sold all those properties, just grabbed the money, all of it. And so I'm going to buy a house, or I'm going to buy land. We're going to build a house, and I'm going to start business. And I'm like doing all this math and everything, and everything's going to work out. We got plenty of money. And then I don't know if anybody is familiar with what happened in like 2020, 2021 with the building costs, but shot through the roof. All of a sudden the lumber package that was going to be 50 grand is now 100 grand, and then that kept happening at every stage of the build. And we literally ran out of money.
Wow.
Straight up.
Wow.
So I'm like in this place where, I'm trying to make businesses work. I'm also the general contractor for the house, which was dumb. and it turned out great, but not a wise thing in hindsight. And, as I'm going through all that, man, it was like, I kind of lost connection with mentorship and with friends in that period. I was just really going through it. It's kind of a dark place. Everything I was doing was kind of failing because I wasn't focused on anything, mainly because I'm I'm like building this house as well as buying cups and spoons and forks. We had nothing. We left everything in the Philippines. We shipped everything there, came back with nothing.
Wow.
So we're buying cars, cups, spoons, forks, everything,
Yeah.
And I think the greatest challenge was that disconnect. You know, I think that as a entrepreneur, especially someone who's trying to start businesses, you know, man, like you have to be connected to a core group. You know, I think it's really important.
Sure.
I think it's super important.
For sure.
And I think it's why a lot of people listen to podcasts or read books, because even if you don't have somebody, you've got something that can encourage you. In that time, dude, I was just kind of like, it was super dry. It was super dry spiritually, emotionally. I mean, it was tough. And yeah, man, everything seemed to fail. And until I ran out of money, legit, I kept floundering. And then, you know, I took a W-2 job. I got it's not a reverse mortgage. What's it called? Maybe it is. I got a mortgage on the house. So I got some cash out of it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And so I had some money to, start Allstate. And as I was working that W-2 job, I was in at like at 6:30 in the evening one night, and I'm like, dude, what am I doing? I need to start my own company if I'm going to work this hard.
For sure.
So, talked to you about it. So like, you know, I'm going to do this. And, yeah, dude, just went to the point of no return again.
Your back's kind of against the wall.
You got no choice but to succeed.
Yep.
You either win or fail.
Yep.
There's no option.
Yep.
And that forced me to get back to that blue collar mentality and say, let's focus and let's get to work. You know, and it's not that hard, and it ended up being enjoyable, right? Because working feels good when you're actually winning.
Feels great
when you're winning. And so I got back to winning, and man, God blessed it, dude. He blessed it like tremendously. And like you said, we grew pretty fast, and yeah, that's the story.
Yeah. So
come back.
So going into that growth with the Allstate agency, you're known for building high performing sales teams. What do you think the secret is that most people miss, or is there a secret, or what, you know, if somebody's listening and they're trying to, maybe they just open and they're trying to get their first couple rock star agents in there, if you believe in there's a rock star agent, but first couple agents, I think there are. What are some secrets in there that can really help somebody take off?
You know, like sales is a pretty simple process. And one of the most simple things I didn't have at Farmers, and you know this, was a sales path.
Yep.
A sales process that somebody can follow, and I can almost grade them on, see how they're doing, coach them up, and train them on. And that kind of leaves it up to chance, and you just kind of see what their results are. You see what their efforts are, you know? So I think having a legit solidified sales process, I mean, this is something I believe in so much that I've invested a pretty good chunk in this new venture in building right off the rip, is a solid sales process to take the customer through from start to finish. You need to have, you know, the ability to bring someone within a few days, have them actually effective selling, working leads. So building a team, I think, is, you know, the fastest way. I think it's the only way to go far. You know, I think Zig Ziglar said it. He said, forget the exact saying, but he said something to the effect of like, if you help enough people get what they want in life, you'll have no problems getting what you want in life. And so I think, you know, realizing that, number one, you know, you can only do so much by yourself. And then being excited to build a team. I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't want to give up their, you know, responsibilities. They don't want to hire it out. They don't want that discomfort, that uncomfortable feeling of someone else handling something important. And so I just learned to get rid of it. You know, I just learned to get rid of that desire to white knuckle things and just kind of leave it up to God again. You know, and I think that's like the universal principle that is something I try to lean into every day. And I hope I continue to lean into it. You know, if there's one thing I learned, the more I've accomplished or whatever the more I accomplish, the less I know that I actually know. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, I hope I can keep this
for sure,
this piece of wisdom here. And that is, man, that desire to lean on God and just focus on the day to day and not get emotionally attached to the result. And I think when you have a team, it's so emotional, dude. Because you know you got to fund that team. You got to give them leads. You got to give them coaching, training, and then when they flop for a day, 2 days, a month, it gets real.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you're emotional and you're not handling the morale the right way. You're not
Mm.
coaching the right way. So I think just the same thing is like not trying to white knuckle and make everything happen,
Yeah.
but just being like, hey, this is the recipe. This is what I'm going to follow. I'm going to be excellent. And that gives you that vibrancy. And once you catch that winning stride, again, you get that wind in your sails. That's when you can scale.
Mhm.
That's when you hire more people. That's when you keep climbing, you know?
Mm. Mm. I love that, man. How do you, when it comes to pushing salespeople, how do you push them, but also care for them? Like you probably know their families.
Yeah.
So how do you push them to that next level without even just crossing the lines?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think it's the same. It's like treating them like you treat yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. You quoted 3 people yesterday and you made 60 dials, dude. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to quote 10, pretty simple math. Like, you
Yep.
need to make a couple hundred dials.
Yep.
And what were you doing that held you back from that? You know, I think being able to be honest with people, you know, and just shoot them straight goes a long way, you
Mhm.
know, because if they can take it, awesome. If they can't, you need them out anyway.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think being brutal, brutally honest with their performance with them, I think is a key
Like,
ingredient.
you just need an accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have that, you know, that's like a key, you know, that's a fundamental piece of the agency is to send out the daily metrics.
Yep.
And it's like, it's there.
Yep.
And we're going to always focus on these, you know, they call them KPIs or whatever.
Mhm.
We're going to focus on these things. We're going to
Yep.
do these things. And this is going to be what we talk about. And like, we're fine. Like, I love you. You love me.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything's
Yeah.
going great. But, you know, we can't ignore the math over here.
Yep.
And I think that's, you know, one of the things that some people don't like about business, you
Mhm.
know, is that math, it'll hurt your feelings, dude.
For sure.
You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
doesn't care. Numbers don't care.
Absolutely don't care about your feelings, you know? And, I sending that out, I think is a challenge if you're just starting it. Like if you're listening and you haven't done this yet and you start doing it, it's going to be a shock to those that are there,
Yeah.
but you make it a part of your culture.
Yeah.
And so that focus and that intentionality is just normal for everybody.
Yep.
And it births success ultimately.
For sure. So you've got 6 kids. How has fatherhood changed how you lead a business?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest thing is the work-life balance. You know, when I was in my early 20s and I was grinding, dude, I didn't want to hear anything about a work-life
No,
balance.
not at all.
But it's taught me that like you can actually accomplish a whole heck of a lot and still get off at 4 or 5 every day.
For sure.
You know, that's I would say from a business perspective, that's the biggest thing. You know, but you know, it's also taught me that to be responsible for the future,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
and that need and greed are 2 completely different things.
Mm.
You know, if I say, hey, I need to make $10 million over the next 10 years to accomplish my dreams, somebody might be like, that guy's greedy. He doesn't need 10 million.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I got 4 daughters.
Yeah.
I've got 2 sons. I've got a wife, you know,
Yeah.
like, I mean, if you look at what you actually need to retire or to bless others in need and on top of everything that you need, I think taking the time to actually write that out
Mhm.
will change perspective and you realize like, shoot, dude, I need to be making like 50 grand a month.
Yeah.
And if you're in a vehicle that won't allow that,
Yep.
or if you're running your business in a way that doesn't allow that, it forces you to think different. I'm reading a book right now called 10X is easier than 2X.
Mm.
And if you're making 6 grand and you realize, hey, I need 60 to be able to fund this orphanage, to be able to give to my church and set myself up for retirement and pay for the weddings and the trips and not be responsible for, you know, paying my bills when I'm in my 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, if that's 10, dude, you can't just work 2 times harder. Working 2 times harder does not make 6 grand turn into 12 grand. It just wears you out.
Yep.
Straight up.
Wow.
You have to think different.
Yeah.
It changes the way that you think about business.
Mm.
And that's exactly what happened at Allstate. 100%, dude. You're one of the main motivators, honestly. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but you were running your agency in this scalable model where you have employees, you're buying them leads and you're running it to scale.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I can't tell you how many times I held on because of you. Seriously. I've never told you this?
No.
Yeah. So I would call Lexi on like a February day, you know, I started in January.
Yeah.
Multiple times, baby. I think I need to just fire everybody and produce. I'm talking to some guys that were doing that.
Yeah.
They start in agencies. They're by themselves. They got one guy, two guy, and they're making good money because they're producing.
Yeah.
But this thought was just eating away at me. And this is the thought. All right. This is, you're probably gonna laugh at this. I had this idea of you sitting on the beach in July with your wife, enjoying a pina colada.
Yeah.
And I call you and I say, hey, bro, how are your leads flow today? Or whatever. Not, we're always asking about stuff like that. And you're like, oh, bro, I don't know. I'm at the beach. And I look at the leaderboards and you're beating me. You're making more money than me. And I'm grinding my head off. I was like, I can't give up.
Yeah.
I got to keep, if these employees don't work out, I got to hire other ones. I got to figure out a way.
Yeah.
And so I held on because I was like, this idea of earning more but working less, never, like, I wouldn't let go of it.
Yeah.
And it ended up working.
Yeah.
Like because that principle, it's even biblical, man. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. You're providing an opportunity for so many people,
for sure,
when you're growing a company, and you just got to hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you turned the corner like that next month.
It was March.
I looked at the leaderboard and I'm like, this guy is now beating me.
Yeah. March, we did 150 new business in March and never did less than that the rest of the time in business.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh my gosh, this is going to work.
Yeah.
And then 6 to 12 months in, I finally realized like, oh, I've been buying auto leads this whole time. I didn't buy any good leads.
Yep.
And yeah, it was like, it's amazing, what you learn when you just hold on.
For sure. So man, what does pressure look like for you these days? You're a husband, father, got another new business. What's pressure?
Another new baby.
Yeah. What's pressure look like for you?
Yeah. When I sold my Allstate agency, I took a handful of months off and was very, very helpful, having with our daughter Penelope being born and being able to help with our 4-year-old and 2-year-old. She's 3 now. They were 4 and 2 at the time. The handful plus the older one, their extracurricular activities. Our oldest daughter, unfortunately, has a pretty severe case of epilepsy. So did doctor's appointments and all the stuff associated with that. It just requires me to not, it requires a lot of me, when I'm like mentally, even. And the pressure I feel, I think more so than anything else is, I know what it takes to make a business win. And so I have to kind of pull myself back from going all in and like white knuckling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Telling my wife, hey babe, look, I need to put my head down for a year. I'm going to disappear for 60 hours a week. And I'm just going to grind this thing out. I find that God's pace and the way that he leads us to do things, especially as husbands and fathers, is a little bit more steady, and I'm learning to live into that steadiness a little bit better. I'm not perfect at it. My wife's probably, if she's listening to this, she's like, yeah, he needs to keep learning because I still want to grind. So I think I have the normal pressures, like everybody has.
Yeah.
But that tension of like, I love my family so much, dude. Like I want to be with my wife and kids. I don't even want to work sometimes,
sure.
But then I get to work and then I love it. And I'm excited about winning and I want to win and I want to push and I want to accomplish and I want to like hire and scale and, run. And then, so I think those tensions create a pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, having my, you asked how do I deal with it?
Yeah.
Exercise, obviously, really important. Date nights with my wife at least 2 times a month.
Yep.
We try to do date nights with the kids. We need to be better at that. But having that turn off switch to say, because what I've done is everything's remote. I work from home, which is great. Especially, my daughter having the epilepsy. If she has a bad seizure, my wife, I'm the one that goes and like attends to her. Lexi can't handle it. It's very traumatic.
Okay. So
I comfort her. I pray over her. I wait till it stops. I'm there. So it really helps for me to work from home.
Yeah.
But that the pressure is even more so there, right?
Yeah.
Working from home.
Yeah.
So I have to have that like, hey, look, I'm in my office, guys.
Yeah.
My daddy's door's locked. I'm focused.
Yeah.
And so I, really big on a calendar. filling up my calendar hour by hour. I mean, honestly, 30-minute block by 30-minute block, I try to stick to it.
Yeah.
So I can make sure I'm accomplishing what needs to be accomplished. And then when I'm off, I'm with my family and I'm all there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You have to be really intentional, and then I have to be, I think, what's more important, you hear so many entrepreneurs talk about like waking up so early and doing the ice on the face and all these. I truly think it's less important what you do as it is what you don't do. Like Sunday, prime example. Dude, Cal was begging me, take me to see this new, what was it, the Now You See Me, Now You Don't movie, the magic movie. And I'm like, buddy, I just don't want that in my spirit. He's like, what are you talking about? It's not a bad movie. I'm like, but it's not that it's a bad movie. All right. It's that I need my head clear, And so I'm really intentional about that. Like, it's a battle, it's pressure, it's a fight to stay off of social media, to stay out of, entertainment, cheap, free entertainment.
For sure.
And I've found that, like, dude, I can go better, faster, further with business, with my wife, my kids, with family, everything, when I cut everything out. Like, I think doing too much is crippling.
Yeah.
There's
a real cost to it.
Huge cost to it.
Yeah.
I think so. That's how I handle the pressure. Do you get quiet at night? I put on like soaking worship music. I love Jeremy Riddle. I'll put on Jeremy Riddle, like, I'll put it on and I'll do deep breathing and I just chill. I just like, I think about the Lord. I meditate on him and his presence. And I really like practice the presence of God, if that makes sense. Like I try to like just come to terms with the reality that he's here with me. I need that.
Yeah.
And dude, that reset has been huge. I mean, bro, from, I've had, issues in my heart a couple of times from being all on all the time, doing too much.
Yep.
And I've learned that, they check my heart out. They're like, dude, you're healthy. Your heart's fine.
Yep.
You need to calm down.
Yep.
So I think getting quiet and trying to be like, one of my absolute favorite books of all time is The Power of Positive Thinking, Norman Vincent Peale. It's very biblical. He brings up a lot of scripture throughout it. It's an unbelievable book. And he's literally talking about being positive and having success in life. But one consistent theme is what not to do. Like, he's like, go for a walk and be in nature. Don't take your phone. Sit still and don't move. Like, just be. And that stuff's powerful, bro.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's intense.
Yeah. It's a great book.
I've got a little case of tinnitus. And so, really being still and quiet can be really loud.
Yeah.
So I need to work on that. I'm sure I can tune it out somehow. But that's a challenge accepted. Switching gears, man. When you lived overseas, how does that pace of life and business compare to the U.S.?
Yeah. Well, dude, one of the coolest things of living in the Philippines was like I could leave my phone in my drawer, and I did, like, all day, every day. Just check it like every couple of days, because it's 12-hour difference to time. So it's night here when it's day there. My only business dealings were real estate, and it was just collecting rents and like approving repairs or whatever. All done through email. I had a management service that was handling the rental property, so no one had to get in touch with me, for anything. And that was amazing. And dude, I was physically the healthiest I've ever been. I was like building muscle, but also very lean. I had tons of energy, dude, tons of energy. In the Philippines, the sunrise is like 4:30.
Wow.
a.m. Yeah, and it's hot all day. It feels good all day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dude, we were out, we were active. I was in prayer in the mornings from a pretty steady, like, hour and a half to 2 hours every morning.
Wow.
And, man, it was my job was to seek Jesus, dude. Like, come on, bro. Like, I miss it. I want to get there again, because it was amazing. Yeah. It truly was, dude, to just be with him. I mean, there's no greater pleasure, there's no greater joy than to know God. The Bible says, John 17:3, this is true. Jesus is praying. He says, this is true salvation, that they would know you and him who you sent. And the word know is in the Greek gnosko, which is the same way a husband knows a wife. That's true salvation, and I think over there, dude, God's presence was so tangible. We were worshiping every day.
Mm-hmm.
We were, I was having that time. It was my job.
Yeah.
It was my job
Yeah.
to seek the Lord. So I'm not talking about the Philippines versus America so much as I am just what I experienced, but 100% it's slower.
Yeah.
It's a lot slower over there.
So Amanda and I went to Italy a few years ago, and comparing the lifestyle and the pace of Italy versus here, it just is slower.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad slow.
No.
Like you get back over here and it's like, oh my gosh, everything is 100 miles an hour or you're a loser is how it feels.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to go back and just take it easy and just go slow.
Yeah.
So how do you find that peace again when everything here feels so urgent?
I think, like I said before, the best way to do that for me is time with the Lord.
Yeah.
And one practice I think is not preached about enough. It's not spoken about enough. And that's waiting on the Lord. Those who wait on the Lord renew their strength, right? They mount up on wings like eagles. That's like not God. That's just not a cool saying.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's real. Are you feeling weak? Are you feeling burned out? Are you feeling like you can't work hard? Wait on the Lord. What does that mean? This. Do nothing. Wait. That's been powerful for me, dude. It absolutely is insane. And I look forward to it. I genuinely look forward to doing nothing, which is weird for me.
Yeah.
And it was weird at first.
Yeah.
But practicing waiting on the Lord is such a powerful thing. So that's been huge for me.
Yeah. That's got to feel weird for you because you go.
100%. It has been. It's been necessary, dude.
Yeah.
Heart was palpitating like for no reason. I go get all the workup done. They're like, yeah, your heart's fine, dude. I start researching it. It's like, this is an autonomic nervous system issue caused by stress and anxiety. I'm not stressed. I'm fine. I'm not stressed. Stress can be caused not by your outside circumstance. You might think, I got enough money, things are going good. I'm not stressed because those things maybe cause you to feel stress before, but you can make stress happen. I think you can make your body anxious and stressed just by the busyness, of your brain constantly doing things. So I'm at the point now in my life, dude, where I'm like I'm going to try my darndest to go slower, to go at God's pace. You know what I mean? Because his pace is more steady, but he gets more done, dude.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. His way is perfect,
Yeah.
And so, that's how I do it. I try my darndest to have time with the Lord, and that time looks different. One of the, something I do like almost every single morning. I'm not perfect on any of this, but I've been doing this for a long time now, and I learned this at Allstate. This is huge. Okay. So I'm going to tell a backstory if that's okay. Do we have time?
Yeah.
So starting Allstate that February, March, I kind of already told you, like I was ready to freaking like give up. It was so hard, dude. I'm running out of money again. I'm like, this can't be happening. At least one thing I can do is sell insurance. I'm gonna fire everybody. I'm going to sell, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I hold on. And you know what holding on means? It means every day your bank is getting hit $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 every single day. Bang, bang, bang. And you got to sit there and wait. You know what I'm saying? So I come across this Joel Osteen message. I don't listen to Joel Osteen. I like Joel personally. I'm just saying, dude, the Christians out there are like, okay. But look, bro, Joel, everybody has their gift. He's self-proclaimed that his gift is encouragement. I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
And so I listened to this message on thankfulness that Joel Osteen preached. And for the record, for those of you that are like, Christians for real, and you want to, pick apart Joel, I'm with you. I wish he would say more about hell. I wish he would say more about the severity of God, but he's a wonderful encourager. And so anyway, I listened to this message about thankfulness, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. So I go and I'm like practicing thankfulness. I write down like pages of all that I'm thankful for. And you run out of things. I'm like, thank you that I can see.
Yeah.
Thank you that I can taste, that I can hear. Thank you that I can feel the wind, whatever. You start thinking, just thanking God, just being thankful, just trying to be. And bro, that was literally like, I think the day things broke.
Wow.
It was such a significant thing in my life that thankfulness became like a part of my practice with God.
Mm.
It says you enter his courts with thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
So every morning I have this sheet and I will write out 12 things I'm thankful for, 7 today goals and 7 future goals. But I write the thankfulness just as a thank you to the Lord. I say, thank you, Lord, for, and I name them all, right? And then I write out my goals in a prophetic way. So I will say, Lord, if it be your will, and again, that's the be your will thing. Make sure I'm not white knuckling anything.
Yeah.
Lord, if it be your will, make it so that today, and then I write it. I had an incredible workout. I write it like it's past tense, like I already got it.
Yeah.
I accomplished this well. I said, blah, blah, blah. And then, Lord, if it be your will, make it so that in the future, my business is netting 80,000 a month. My marriage is thriving and a perfect reflection of Christ and the church, blah, 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 right? I'm writing all these things. That thankfulness and that helps my mind, for the day, I think getting started. And then the evening shutdown is always that waiting and getting quiet. It's usually when everyone goes to bed and I just sit there, I'll throw in some music or I won't. And it's just nothing.
So, man, you've mentioned humility being a factor. How do you stay teachable after you found a good amount of success?
Well, I think it's super easy because I feel like I've scratched the surface of being successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you were to, and I don't think comparison is healthy, but like I haven't been like wildly successful in any of my ventures. You know what I mean? I'm still young. I think a lot is still possible, but I've had the good fortune to know some seriously successful entrepreneurs like the Benham brothers, like Paul McLean. Paul's my, mentor and leader in this life insurance space. I mean, this guy has done amazing things. He's like one of the main speakers at his church. He is the president of sales of Pinnacle Life Group, thousands of agents he's training. He has 5 kids. He coaches his daughter's soccer team. I mean, he's like travels like crazy. These guys that accomplish so much and you admire. So I kind of like look at that and I think, that's like, maybe he has to fight a little bit to stay humble. It's not hard for me. I don't feel like I've done much. You know what I mean? Like if I stopped working today, I'd be out of money, with my family size, relatively quick. It's not that hard.
Yeah. What, for someone who's listening who might feel stuck, what's like a quick piece of advice that, could lift them out of there?
Advice. One of the things I think that has really gets me excited about, self-help, is the idea of renewing your mind. And, there's a lot of, I guess you could call it new age stuff on this. And so I try to avoid it a bit, but there's still a lot of faith to it. Like Jesus, I forget the exact scripture and exactly what it said, but Jesus says something to the effect that if you believe that you have received it when you ask, it's yours. There's something of like owning it before you have it and how it changes your perspective. Something about becoming the person that you want to be before you are that person in your head. And I'll tell a story again about my last agency. I started to kind of get a grip of this. And there's one day I sat there and I just kind of envisioned, I'd done this before. Like I envisioned buying a nice home for my family and it happened exceptionally faster than I thought it would happen. It was like, oh my gosh, this actually works. To like see it, because then all of a sudden, like you live into it, if that makes sense. I think when people get stuck, they have no hope. I was actually reading that in Proverbs this morning. One of the first few verses was like, if the heart is sick, like when there's no hope. And I think, like, how do you get hope? Like, what is hope? Hope is a real currency. What are the 3 things that are going to remain? Faith, hope, and love. Hope is like a real thing. What the heck is hope? I think you need hope, dude. If you're stuck, you need hope.
Yeah.
And how do you get hope? I think you get hope because, by spending time seeing what you're hoping for, what you're dreaming for, what you're believing God for. So, whether it be business or family, you could be stuck in your marriage. You could be stuck in a friendship. I think being able to like spend time, because you don't realize on the negative how you do that, right? Like think about how much time you might have spent if you got offended by somebody really pissed you off. You know, they said something they shouldn't have said. How many times do you end up playing like a conversation with them in your mind?
Oh yeah.
With you telling them off in your mind.
Yeah.
You imagine that. It's like you create it, and that relationship just like like it gets further and further apart. Or you do it in marriage a lot, I'm sure. I mean, I know I have, where I'm like thinking about like, oh, this woman, you know, or whatever. But I think flipping that and doing the positive is a way to get unstuck. Seeing it,
For sure.
You know, quick example of that was with Allstate. I saw the little in lead manager, you know, the CRM.
Oh yeah.
I would see the name going across, you know, Lance Foster sold a policy. Jake Jimenez sold a policy. Alexis Stuckey sold a policy. Gene sold a policy. I would just see it over and over, and I would watch it in my mind. It's kind of crazy, and this was weird, but hey, this is my story. All right. First time I did this, very first time, and I love doing this now. But the first time I did it, I saw 21K. The day was a $21,000 day. And dude, you're spending $4,000 a day. Yeah. Like you got to write some freaking business when you're spending like that.
Yeah.
So that was a big goal, right? 21,000. Dude, that day we did 21,800.
Wow.
That day.
Wow.
And that's when I was like, whoa, there's something to this whole hope thing.
Yeah.
So it's real, bro. Faith, hope, it's real, you know? And I think spending time being hopeful and exercising that changes you. I think it changes the way you feel. It changes your energy levels. It changes the way you talk. It changes the way you think. It changes everything. And I think it kind of starts to mold your life towards that thing you're hoping for. So if you're stuck, I guess you would have to be stuck because you're trying to go somewhere. You're trying to accomplish something, you know, so spend time being in that accomplishment, you know, and this might sound super self-helpy or whatever. I don't care. But it could be a McLaren. You want a McLaren? Yeah. Well, you know what it feels like to ride a McLaren? You know what I mean? Like, go sit in one. Think about it. Feel it purr. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one way. Or if it's just like having a really solid marriage, and like maybe you and your wife aren't clicking, and you're just not like in the same like dreamy love that you were in. Like, what does that look like? Next thing you know, you might be writing her a love note. You haven't done that in 10 years.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I love that, man. All right, I'm going to wrap up here. So I wrap up every episode with the same question. So when the pressure's on and everything's shaking around you, what principles do you fall back on?
That the battle is the Lord's, you know, that he's with me and that he fights for me, you know, and that as long as I'm not in darkness away from him, and I have been many times, and I've confessed, and I'm clean, and I'm before him, and he is with me and I'm with him, I'm not afraid. I go back to that and I lean into that and I wait until he justifies the situation, whatever it is, whether it's something that's not breaking out or something I can't control. I just put it in God's hands, and I genuinely have peace that way.
I love that.
Yeah, man.
Well, man, thank you so much.
Dude, it's an honor, bro.
Yes, sir. That's a wrap for this episode of Principles and Pressure, because who you are when things get tough is who you really are. If today's conversation brought you value, share it with someone who will also appreciate it. I'm your host, Josh Linderman. Stay focused, stay grounded, and I'll see you on the next one.